Good morning.
BCLI.
Sorry for hopping on a little after the start time, but it's been a busy morning. A lot of alerts. I'm mostly focused. The only two positions I'm in right now is HKPD. That's from earlier this morning. It was a 4 o'clock play. And then PTIX. And PTIX, if you look at the yearly, there's the 200 resistance right here at around 670. So it's going to be a pretty solid resistant area right here, I believe. So
BCLI.
I'm going in right now on it. So I think this is a pretty good spot for me to add to my position. But yeah, I haven't played a lot today, and I'm gonna stay off camera today. I'm feeling kind of rough, to be honest. Just woke up at 4, then went back to bed, but got up about 15-20 minutes ago. And HKPD, I'm in a pretty good spot there. Up $300 on that position. I've already sold out of half the position. And this is from this morning, from shortly after the market opened. And then PTIX was an alert that shortly after I woke up, it popped off. And the reason why I'm very interested in this one is because the 200 moving average on the yearly chart is right here, close to where we're at. So it's going to be probably a solid resistance area.
PTIX.
Alex, I was wondering if you stayed and moved, then you banked then, didn't you? Good morning, guys. I haven't been connecting my TradeZero lately, but I might do it this morning. It makes it more complicated, but I was gonna pull up all the plays I've played, but I guess I can look through my mobile orders. It's just a little more difficult. ARMP, I played this one and I only made well, the reason I say only is because it should have been more. So this pop ARMP shot up to like 350. I got in around 320. Tried to get 1,000 shares and it only gave me I was only able to enter 400 of them, but made $400 on 400 shares. So I wish all of my shares would have went through. But I'm starting to play the pops a little bit more now.
BCLI.
BCLI is just
PTIX.
blowing me up. What is going on with it? BCLI. Why am I getting so many alerts for this? It's just kind of like consolidating right here. I don't know, but it's blowing me up right now. But anyways, forgot what I was saying. But yeah, this is about the only pop alert I've gotten this morning, and it paid pretty nicely. Wish I would have it would have filled all my shares though. But yeah, PTIX, this is the main one I'm looking at right now. And I will stay in this one unless, like I said, it holds over the 200 moving average. Maybe if it closes like a 15 30-minute candle over the 200, but I think this is going to be pretty solid resistance for it, to be honest. And then this is the only other play I'm in. Just a pop from this morning. Early. Like I talk about, I love these 4 to 6:59 a.m. pops because they usually just fade away. Now it's below the 200 moving average as well, so. But I'm only in 600 shares now because I've already closed out of most of my positions. So my realized I'm up $1,200 today, and my unrealized
PTIX.
about 300. So a decent morning so far. I'm getting a lot more alerts because I made it where if it falls below VWAP, I get an alert for my same criteria, but I might have to adjust that because when it hangs around VWAP, it blows me up. Yeah, PTIX was very hard to get locates for sure, CJ. I noticed that. I just keep pressing it. Like, it was crazy. I just did it for like a couple minutes straight, then I finally ended up getting a quote. But now they're quoting the price they're quoting went way up too, I noticed. So it's pretty expensive to get locates for it now. Nice.
PTIX.
That's your biggest trade so far. So see, it fell below VWAP. That's why I'm getting that alert. And I'm back in the green with this one because I have a $6 average. So yeah, good morning so far. Good morning. But yeah, happy to hear that, Alex. I thought of you whenever I saw it just tank at 4 a.m. I was like, I wonder if Alex decided to swing it. And if you've seen my interview or I don't know if I mentioned it in my course, but I mentioned Fridays. It's a lot of people would say it's frowned upon to hold over the weekend, but if the borrow fee is low and it's just after hours pump, by the time Monday rolls around, I've noticed that most people forget about that play. Again, you don't. I can't give financial advice. Y'all know this. Educational purposes only. But what I do is I notice that if it has low borrow fees,
PTIX.
if it didn't get that much volume, and I'm not in too heavy, if I swing over the weekend, a lot of the times when Monday rolls around, people's already forgotten about that play. And it seems like, or ready to get out and move on to the next play. So I think that's what happened with you. Oh yeah, beautiful, beautiful. See, this is the one that popped after hours Friday. Boom. I did play this one, but I sold for just like a very small gain, I believe. And then one of our members decided to swing it over the weekend, and look, it just deceased. The bar fee rate was 7% for all 3 days or for one day. 7's kind of high. But anyways, so yeah, this is the only pop I played, and I'm so sad I only got 400 shares filled, but it was a very quick moving one. But yeah, so I know I keep saying this, but I'm adding heavy the closer it gets to this 200. The borrow fees have went up a little bit. Let me see where they are now. So for 100 shares, ooh, they have went up. So I was able to get mine for about which is not cheap, but about $10 per 100 shares. Now it's $62.50 for 100 shares. Jeez. That's like 10%. I'm gonna hold off on adding more now. This is a good entry spot though. If you look at the yearly right here.
PTIX.
I don't like that it's making a new high right now though. Confused trade. I decided to get some more locates, just 100 more, and it shows I paid for them, but they're not allowing me to use them. I'm so confused. Anyways, I added on this pop. I don't like that it technically broke a new high. I'm gonna see what it does on this candle. Sorry, I was trying to decide what I want to do about my locates, but anyways, is there anything else worth looking at this morning? BCLI, I think I have it pulled up somewhere. So this one I didn't get in, nor do I plan on getting in it right now, but if it does try to test highs here, I'll probably, if it gets closer up to $3, I'll be interested, but I'm gonna keep an eye on PTIX since it's kind of breaking a new pre-market high right now, or deciding what it wants to do. So technically now it is up above the 200. Another resistance will probably be at least this area where, well, when was this? April, beginning of April, it got up to, what is it, like 850, 859.
PTIX.
So it's breaking 3. So I'm gonna see if it tests that that area. We'll make the decision based on that. Oh, but pre-market got all the way up to 10. Interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna have to keep a close eye on this one because I'm having a pretty good morning. I don't want. Luckily, I'm not in very because the locate fees are so expensive and they were hard to get. I'm not in very heavy with this one, so we'll see what it does here at $8. But it is looking a little bullish right now. Oh, 7% was the annualized number. Perfect. Yeah, that was super cheap. Borrow fees then. Cool. That makes sense. I kind of just do the calculation of my, like, how much am I paying overall? So if I hold it for 3 days, what is that in percent to my position? That's probably not how most people do it, but that's kind of how I decide if it's worth it or not. But yes, 7% annualized that's nothing. And the good thing about when they do pop after hours like this too, the borrowing fee gets set at 4 p.m. So that makes the fee actually even less because it's getting a lot less because the price is already made before it pumps and a lot of shorts pile in, basically, is what I'm trying to say. But anyways, yeah, this was a pretty good swing from this morning. Happy about it. Um, and I should have re-entered here, but I was sleeping, so I missed it. But I don't. Did any of y'all play this one? Did y'all? Anybody wake up early? Play HKPD? Yeah, Alex. That's how. There's a lot of perks to it, to the week, to that play, for sure. And I should have honestly, because like you said, it was all red on dilution tracker. It was a. I should have known it was going to do that, but don't like how bullish PTIX is looking though. I wish it would give some back. But anyways, I might go over some plays here shortly from last week, some top plays, or if there's any questions y'all have. But right now, I'm just kind of keeping an eye on this one right here. Nice, Remy. I'm glad you got into HKPD. Yeah. Again, I've said it many times. Almost tempted to just like stick with these plays. These are so dependable. When they pop during 4 to 6:59, they just always fade. So PTIX is testing the moving average. See what it does here. The problem is a lot of times when I don't like my average, um, if it gets back down a little bit to probably like 7, um, I would consider covering a few and then re-adding if it gets back up here to 850. But all of my locates for this one are single use, so I don't really accomplish anything if I do it with this one. So I'm just going to keep an eye on this one. Like I said, I'm not in that. I'm only in 500 shares for this one, so which I'm glad because that gives me a little bit of more room to play or not have to immediately bail if it goes against me. So we'll see what it does. The next 30 minutes will decide. I'm hoping on this move right here it falls back under 7, but let's see. We need something else to pop off to steal its attention. But PTIX is kind of getting the money flow right now. 13 million shares have been traded, and BCLI is getting a decent amount of money flow too, though. 28 million shares have traded, but it's only $1.80. This one's $7 now, so. I do have my Kinfo up. Look at maybe some plays from Friday. Well, actually, I'll do that in a little bit. I want to keep an eye on PTIX right now. I don't even know if I've looked at this one on dilution tracker yet. Let me see. PTIX. company has 0.8 months of cash left based on a quarterly cash burn of negative 1.7 million. An estimated current cash is 0.3 million and only has 4.1% institutional ownership. So looks like it has some outstanding warrants as well. And now I'm gonna look on Stock Titan to see the news. I mean, I already checked the headline, but I was gonna dig in a little bit more. See if how long I want to hold this one if it goes against me. So it's a merger and an all stock transaction. Okay, so yeah, it's not like that exciting of news to me. I mean, it could run because it's a merger, but significant dilution for existing shareholders. But okay, cool. So it's testing its previous high. If it breaks here, I might just get out of this one. Or trim some of my position while I decide
DTSS.
my next move. What was that? DTSS. Oh, okay. I don't think I have that one pulled up. DTSS. Oh, that was a nice high from earlier retest. It's not enough. It's not up enough for me to be that interested in it, but it was a nice little retest.
GTBP.
GTBP. I don't know what that was. Low volume. Only 5,000 shares have been traded, so I don't know what that is. But yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye on this one. I'm a little biased to this one because it's where most of my position is. So, but if y'all want me to look at anything else, have any questions, let me know. I'm still holding on to this one. I'm just going to probably hold on to end of day or till it gets back in this 110 to $1 area, just to ride these out. But besides that, this is the only play I'm in. And I only played one pop, like I was saying today, and it was played out beautifully, but it didn't fill all my shares, but that's all right. As long as this one doesn't break 850, I'm probably going to try to ride it out, hold it. in the background, I'm looking at like just previous levels it's gotten to, try to figure out where it might run. Because it clearly got to 865 in April, so I really don't want to cut prior to 865 because it could reject there. So I'm going to at least hold it to 870, 875. But yeah, keep an eye on it. I'm gonna turn my mic off for a little bit. About to eat breakfast. But if y'all have any questions, let me know. Like I said, I'll keep the camera off today. It's not everything's working. I just feel rough this morning. I'm hoping I'm not getting sick. But if you have any questions, let me know. If not, I'm just gonna mute and just keep an eye on PTIX. Sorry, I was on the phone. So I was keeping an eye on this move regardless though, because if it holds over 865, like I was saying, that was its high in April, I might trim almost all my position because it's looking like it might. I'm just being honest here. I wouldn't be surprised unless something else pops and steals everyone's attention. It might do that. Then just some play updates. HKPD still tanking. BCLI is looking pretty weak too. So if anybody's in that one, it's looking pretty weak. But I miss this play. JT, I see your comment too. Got worried there. I mean, to be honest, I'm not confident this is not going to break it. To be honest, it's a Monday. Usually, one stock usually takes the lead and gets bullish. I hope it's not PTIX because I'm in it too. But I'm not. I'm not very confident that it's going to not break it. I think it could break new highs for sure, but as long as it stays where it's at now, under that 865, I'm feeling good. Okay, I'm done with breakfast. um, I'll here shortly. I'm gonna look through some plays, some good plays from last week. Friday was kind of slow though. I didn't play a lot of plays yet Friday, and then the plays I did play, I did not enter very heavy, but ended the week pretty good. But Friday was a little underwhelming. But I know some people in the group did well, so happy about that. So let me, in the background, I'll be looking back at some of the plays to see which ones I want to cover. But yeah, I didn't enter very many plays at all. And I know some people in the group were talking about playing this one. This one had some like crypto affiliation to it, so it made me a little nervous because that's what's been rocking my account recently. But this pre-market play, I just avoided for the most part. And man, at market open, look at this. Just tanked started, I mean, it went all the way up to 15, and then within what, an hour, 2 hours, it was at a third of that, less than $5. I know Steven and the group played that one. I'm sure others did as well. I just remember him posting about it, but that was a beautiful play Friday, and can't say there wasn't opportunities. This is a huge opportunity, but I've been avoiding stocks that have any tie to crypto because they just keep. It's a reason why I've had some red days recently. I've been having a lot more red days too, than because of those plays, which is disappointing. Let me see. Look at performance. I'm not good at this on the oh, here we go. Where's the, I like how they break it down by, on the mobile you can see calendar days, but I was kind of just wanting to show a quick example. Is there a way to change this to calendar? I don't think so, but I'll look at it and see if I can figure it out. But the reason I wanted to show it to you was because just my consistency lately with some of these bigger plays or bigger losses from some of these crypto plays have hurt my P&L a little bit. So PTIX, let's keep an eye on it. I'm getting off topic. Right when I was hopping on at 8 o'clock, there were a ton of alerts too. It's kind of one of the reasons I got on a little late too, is because I was um, playing some of them, but it's kind of slowed down a little bit. I would love to hear at least one more solid alert to take attention away from PTIX, because this would be a good spot for it to reject. I would feel very comfortable if it starts fading at this level. Remy, I see your comment in the group. Yeah, they are expensive now. They were $10 for 100 shares earlier, and I only got 500. And I knew when I got those, I was like, you probably should have got more, but they were a little pricey then. Now they're very pricey. Sometimes after market open, they get cheaper. I'm not really sure why. More are available then, or whatever, or people are selling back their locates. I'm not sure, but I've noticed sometimes after market open, they don't go back to like 40 cents for 100 or $4 for 1,000 or whatever, but they drop, and depending on where the setup's at. Because, for example, if this thing tanks to like $6 or something, and then market opens and it shoots straight up to this level around 850, that's a good entry. It might, in my opinion, $60 for 100. I'm not saying it's worth that, but if they dropped about $10, $20 for 100, I would be getting some more to add to the position right here. If it breaks above 9, holds, I'm out though. But between the pre-market highs being in this area, it's technically above VWAP. I know it doesn't want to be. Previously, Every time it gets above VWAP, look, it quickly goes back down, and most of them's the same day. So history shows that when it wicks above, it doesn't like staying above the 200, and this previous high of 865 is some resistance. So there's a lot of resistance in this area. There's a lot of gravity's trying to force it down. Again, this thing could run to $100. It could do anything, but it's a game of probability. You take trades based on things in your favor, and there's a few with this one. The thing that's not in our favor is that it's breaking, up less than 30 minutes ago. It broke a new high, so. But it hasn't held over that 865. So I'm still enticed. So I hope that makes sense of why I'm in it and why I'm still comfortable where I'm at. But if it holds over 865, closes, starts heading towards 9, that's not a good sign. Anybody else made any money? Oh yeah, Remy, same. But does that make sense? Kind of like my analysis, my breakdown? Am I missing anything? Do y'all see anything contradictory to what I was saying? Got 0 likes on this stream so far. Come on, guys. Somebody give me a like. Yeah, Remy, I'll be very worried around 9. If it breaks over 9, I'm out at that point, which is I'm gonna be sad about because this one has a lot of potential. Thanks, thanks for the like. Uh, if it holds, yeah, if it gets over 9, I'm be very sad. But I'm feeling pretty good about it. I just hope something else just steals attention away. Like I'm not BSing when I say that. Like if something else was to pop right now, this would probably drop to about 7. If it held, I mean, if it was a good pop, but can't count on that. So just going to play the play where it's at. Thanks, Remy. That means a lot. FAAS. One of y'all just alerted that. JT. Ooh. That 50-cent area is usually a tough area to break too. And it tried to. What's the story with this one? Launches Bitcoin Treasury. Y'all know how I feel about these plays right now. Make me a little nervous. And I think they're not having as much momentum as they were, for sure. We're not seeing 1,000% plus gainers out of them anymore, but I want to see them die off a little bit more before I start entering. If this one gets to 50 cents, or actually if it just even gets back to 48, 49 cents, I'll enter it. So it's a good alert, but I'm gonna have probably a pretty tight stop on it. But yeah, if it gets back up here, I'll enter a small position. meantime, what kind of levels do we have here? 200. So it's already above the monthly pivot. And I use the monthly pivot as kind of like a, almost like I treat it like the 200 moving average. It's just like a tough indicator to break through, or level, whatever you want to say. But the 200 being up here, but the reason why the 200 is so much higher is because this stock is just trash. Look at it, it's just been tanking. When the 200's that far away from it, like, look at this play. This thing since May, oh, of 24. So basically in the last year, it's dropped from 10 bucks to where it was this morning, 19 cents. Now it's at 43 cents. So it's a trash stock, obviously. And there might have been reverse splits along the way, but the point is it's way down. FAAS. Let's see what the less than 1% institutional ownership, and only about 8.6 months of cash left. So yeah, no, this is a rough stock. But yeah, if it gets to the 48.50 cents, I might consider entering this one, small position. Thanks for the heads up. Where's PTIX? Man, this thing is still looking pretty strong. And the fact that the locate fees are high, this is another thing to take into consideration. A lot of shorts are not going to be interested in it because of the locate fees, and we want some shorts to kind of help drive the price down too. But if the locate fees are outrageous, kind of hurts. Got 5 likes on the video now. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. No, it hasn't been that exciting this morning. No pops or anything, but we'll see how market open looks. Wish I could get another play like this, another nice. And see, and y'all probably noticed on those live streams, a lot of the pops I took, like the reason why I kind of strayed away from them last week was because like very few were doing this. And this is kind of how I made, this is how, I mean, I've added tricks to the bag along the way. But to be honest, I made my first couple 100,000 with these plays only, just pre-market pops, jump in, let it fade. But the past month or so, like these pre-market pops have been holding their gains for the most part. So like this is a very common move when I was, last year. But this year, a lot of times they would pop and then just keep going up or hold their gain. So I'm happy to see that we're starting to see some more of these like just dumb pops just fade away. That's a good sign for me to get back into these pre-morning pops. Because I mean, I love playing those because again, you just make quick money. Like you get in and then sometimes within a minute, 5 minutes, you're out. So good sign. This is not a good sign though. Jeez. I'm probably gonna, depending on where this candle closes, I'll probably end up getting out of this position, which stinks. Still green on the day, but this is gonna eat it. This is gonna eat up a chunk of it though. Yeah, David, I appreciate that. I do have a little bit more probably risk than most. And previously it's paid off. This year, not so much. Um, but it's all based on the levels. You know what I mean? Like I try not to take reckless risk, but if there's areas that I think it can reject, I'm gonna make it prove that it can bust through those first, but PTIX is kind of proving that right now. So I'm about to trim some of my position on this one. Unfortunately, I'm still going to stay in it with some shares, but it's clearly showing that it's bullish right now. So I need to respect that. Yeah, I'm actually very surprised about this one. With all this, so it broke through this level. It's broke through 200. Um, I still think, based on history, as you can see these wicks, it has a hard time staying above the 200. But the fact that it is clearly looking bullish is not a good sign. So this might not be the play we want, or I want. But trimmed over half my position on this one. Yeah, it's I'm glad I did too. So the next key level is 10. So I'm still in less than half my position. I'm gonna keep an eye on what it does around this 10. This is a big psychological level, breaking through 10. I'm only in a couple hundred shares now, but 10 is is another tough area to break. But I wouldn't be surprised if it breaks it at this point. I mean, it's looking bullish. Yeah, she's the I'm actually surprised there's not any available because they were very expensive this morning. I got them at $10, but they did get all the way up to like $60 for 100 shares. But yeah, I'm actually a little surprised this one's staying as strong as it is. It's just not even respecting any previous levels right now, or moving averages or whatever. So hopefully we get another play to show up. This has kind of been my play of the day. HKPD and ARMP. I didn't get into BCLI, but there was a good move here talking about, obviously it didn't fall as quick as ARMP, but BCLI, big spike, and it's been fading ever since. So there's been some good spike uh, opportunities this morning. Hopefully the rest of the week will be that way. I'll get back into playing some of these pre-market spikes because I've been a little I've been trading them light, which is probably not a bad way to approach these, honestly, until I get confirmation that they're not bullish anymore. And good alert, JT, on this one. It's ever since since you mentioned it in the chat, it's been fading. And I said I would be interested in 48 to 50. I forgot on TradeZero, I can't enter until it gets over 50, so I can't even enter this one anyways. That's probably a good thing. I don't know if I want to be trading stocks under 50 cents. But yeah, a little disappointed with PTIX so far. But again, like I was saying about an hour ago, I wouldn't be surprised if it did this, and it's doing it because it's a Monday. People have waited all weekend to trade something, these small caps. And there's usually one that runs on Mondays. And it could be this one. But since a lot of y'all can't even get in this one, I'll quit talking about it so much. But I don't really have any other good plays. Let me look and see the top gainers right now if there's anything else worth looking at. Not really. It's it's PTIX up 200%, and then FAAS up 100%. And the next closest is ABP 29%, BCLI 25%. So kind of why I'm focused on these, which is another bad sign for PTIX because this is the only one that's really up substantially. So like I said, I'm only in 200 shares now. And if it breaks over 10 and holds, I'm just going to completely get out. And David, to your point earlier about some real courage to take these trades on PTIX, yeah, I do have a little bit higher risk appetite. And the only way to be able to get away with that is you do got to have, like, because I do take probably a little bit bigger gain or losses than some people. But that's why my win rate, you can see on Kinfo, it's over 90%. It's not because I'm that amazing of a picking stocks. It's because I do let them trade some, where some people would take more losses than me. Because a lot of people with similar strategies are usually like 80%, 85%. I let them play a little bit more, so that's probably why. So I don't take as many losses, but when I do take a loss, um, the old me, they used to be really big, but now I don't let them get out of hand anymore. I respect levels a little bit more. And most of the time they go my way. This one might not, though. It's back under that 865, but I'm not confident it's going to stay there with nothing else moving. Which is kind of wild, to be honest, on a Monday. But yeah, PTIX definitely ate into some of my profit this morning, but that's how it goes. I'll have a good feeling though if yeah, I saw that earlier, Alex. Bar rate was 650%. Again, that's good data, but it matters how you interpret it. So the negative of a 654% bar rate is, to your point, might be overcrowded short size, it could squeeze. The good side about that is there are a lot of shorts in there. So there's a lot of people thinking that this play could go down, but the downside is, like you were saying, it could squeeze too. So that's why I'm being very cautious with it. But there's not much else going on today, so it's got most of my attention. If FAAS gets above 50 cents, though, I'll be interested in this one too. Looked it up, crypto news and poor financials. Well, 8.6 months of cash, only 1% institutional ownership. Not great. It does look like it's a Chinese stock, or no, Indonesia. Crazy thing is, I should have took some profit earlier on this one because the problem with my PTIX play was I got in right here in this area, and then I should have took some profits when it hit 5. And I remember having this conversation with myself. I'm like, dude, 5's a hard level to break. Probably should take some profit here. And I did not. So I've just slowly averaged up a little bit. Well, I quit averaging up at 8. but there's still a very good chance. Just want to be clear that this tanks at open, but there's also a very good chance that it squeezes some shorts out. So I'm gonna with my only 200 shares, which isn't much, but it is trading at $9 now, so it's $1,800. I'm gonna keep it. If it gets over $10, I'm out. No questions asked. But yeah, with that loss, it kind of ate into my P&L. So I'm only up $300 on the day now. If I factor in my unrealized, because my unrealized is negative 300 right now, and my realized is 600. It was much higher, but PTIX took a chunk of that one out, so that's all right. I I, I was tempted to well, let me pull it up. Let me pull up some of these other plays from Friday. Caps was my biggest play from Friday. Speaking of pops, this was a beautiful pop. I didn't play, I think this was the only like pre-market pop I played Friday, but this pop was insane. And these are the ones I'm just going to start being more particular about the pops I play. It's like if it's less than 100%, I'm probably going to be very picky with these plays. But I got into caps. Like, look at this pop Friday. Like, it was trading for $1.80 and it got up to like over 850. Like, that's insanity. I didn't get into like 6, and I would be lying to say I wasn't a little nervous because I got in around 650, but this move was so quick I didn't have time to be nervous too long or re-enter, but it dove. So these are the pops that I was used to last year. Just some mean 200, 300, 400% pops and then giving it back. But the last month with those crypto affiliated ones, they just did not give it back. And I was getting in a little too early, a little too heavy early. So there's an art to playing these pops. You got to get in at the right time. And I can't give financial advice. I shouldn't say you. When I play these, I have to get in. Like, you want a big enough position that you make money on it, but you can't get in too heavy that if it keeps going up, you just don't, can't get destroyed. That's why I like the scaling method and just looking for like don't dare go heavy unless it's approaching like a monthly pivot, a 200 moving average or whatever, or you can get it, you're gonna regret it. But yeah, I'm negative for the pops this year though, from 7 to 9:30. I'm up. I'm up on the year, um, almost 100K, but I was up 100K after February, so that's the problem. These big losses right here have kind of taken, and every one of these are like pre-market pops, I think. But that's how it is. And remember, this is just, and I know a lot of y'all, the reason why y'all found me was off Kinfo. Um, and I'm probably going to set a goal this week too, because I got to get back over. So I'm only at 94K on the year right now. The reason why I say only is, again, I was up 100K after February. I like being honest. These crypto pops have really ate into my P&L, but ever since I created the Bear Wall Street, which was last year around June, I'm up about 217. So I'm gonna try to make a goal to get to 250 by end of this month. It's a little bit of a stretch goal. I'd have to average almost 4K a day, but I like goals and then get back over 100. I've fallen, I was in the top 10 beginning of the year after February, but now I'm back in the top 30. So got some work to do, and appreciate everyone still being supportive through the little bit of a back and forth. But I think, have figured out what the problem was, and the last little bit it's been going a lot smoother. So we're getting some news here. What was that? Am I not logged in? I don't know. I'm not too worried about it right now, but I'm not sure why it's not logged in. Sorry, there's a lot of alerts today. And also going back to Kinfo, not to elaborate too much on this, but there was a little bit of back and forth with me and Kinfo because there's some of the data is actually incorrect, and I've been trying to get them to address it, but I don't know if they're going to. But I did notice some of y'all were following me on Kinfo. If y'all want in the circle group, let me know which one, like if some of those are you. Like I was able to figure out who some of y'all were. Like Alex, I found yours because it's you're kind of your same or similar to your email. But if there's anybody else that is following me on Kinfo, let me know what your name is because I couldn't figure out who's who. If y'all ever want me to like look back on stuff or review any info with y'all, let me know. If you're in the group. Because I looked through quite a few of them, but I couldn't figure out who most of them were, or if any of them are y'all. I know a couple of them are, but wasn't sure. "13 minutes till market open." I don't know if we're gonna get anything to pull attention away from PTIX. So, um, 12 minutes out, looking like this is going to be the play of the day. Again, a lot of resistance in this area, even though on the 5-minute time frame it broke above that, but a lot of people trade on the 30-minute. So technically 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. On the 30-minute, it probably barely was able to hold over. And I'm not trying to make excuses to hang on to these. I tend to do that because that's how I am. But again, there's point of all this is it's still hanging around that level. So it could still tank. But I would not be surprised in the least bit if it breaks above 10, and then I'm just going to completely get out. I probably won't even wait for the candle to close over 10, to be honest, because if you can't even get locates on it and it has a borrow fee, like Alex mentioned, 654%, this thing could squeeze. This thing could squeeze, and it could squeeze quick. Luckily, it was trading for about what, $3, so the halt band shouldn't be too tight on this one. Compared to, like some that's trading for $1 and then it goes up to $10. The halt bands are like very tiny. But unfortunately, this is the only play that I really have my eyes on this morning. And I'm not feeling, y'all know I like to be honest with you, I'm not feeling super confident about it either. What I would love to see is it to kind of drop off VWAP, like drop pretty hard, hit VWAP and then come back and test this area, I might potentially add more. But if I'm being honest, I'm probably not going to add any more to this position and just see if it breaks. If it breaks below VWAP, it might be a good fade opportunity. But again, there's no locate, so I'm only in 200 shares, so maybe something will present itself at market open. It usually does. I haven't even looked at the overall market today since the Moody's downgrade over the weekend. So the S&P is down about 1% right now. Historically, the last two downgrades, the S and the what was it, S&P and Finch, both times, one was during the Obama administration, one was in the Biden administration. The market went down 10% after that before it bounced back. So there's a good chance that the market could correct about 10% again. And it's been pretty bullish, so just keep that in mind. If you look at historic, if you're interested in, I don't talk about macros that much, but history shows that usually after a downgrade, it's usually about a 10% drop, and then it shoots right back up. Because we already know this. Our debt to GDP is like 120% right now. Our debt is like 120% to GDP. It's horrendous. But I think the market's fully aware of that. So I don't think there'll be an overreaction, but I think there might be some buying opportunities here in the next little bit. Yeah, Alex, it's quiet for Monday. Very quiet for Monday. Usually a lot more going on. That kind of goes back to my theory. I think it was what was it on Alex's post, his flex on Friday, how he said that he was or Stevens, it was Stevens post where he said he was done for the day, then he jumped back in and ended up making 2K on the day. And I was like, glad you jumped in for more fun. Because I just want to elaborate on that comment too, because a lot of people say like if you hit your daily goal, like walk away, or if you're profitable in the morning, don't trade anymore. And I kind of get that mindset, but again, like look at today. Like if you would have ignored a bunch of A plus setups Friday and then like you were waiting to trade today, there's not a lot of good opportunity. So my motto has always been like if you have time and if there's an A plus setup and you want to trade it, that's better than taking like a C or a B setup the next day. So I'm not saying you should trade all day because y'all know I don't do that. I'm usually busy. I run retail operations for a cannabis company. I do a lot with real estate too. But if there's an A plus setup, even if you hit your daily goal, like I'm always going to still jump in that. And I don't have daily goals because I think daily goals are a little dangerous, to be honest. Kind of forces you to trade if there's not a good opportunity. PTIX is tanking now. I shouldn't say tanking, but it's dropping about 50 cents in the last minute or two. But the point of me going on that is if there's A plus setups and you want to trade them, just like trade them. If you start forcing like B and C setups, then yeah, that's not a smart thing to do. But if an A plus presents itself, regardless if you hit your daily goal, which I don't recommend having daily goals, I think monthly goals are better because if you have a daily goal and there's no good opportunity and you force something, that's not smart. But over a month time frame, I think it's a little bit more reasonable. public holiday in Canada. I forgot you were in Canada, Shiza. I remember your I remember something about New Zealand, but I think that's where you said you were from. Or you lived there for a little bit. Excuse my ignorance, but what's the holiday today in Canada? Victoria Day. Okay. But yeah, sorry guys, it's been a little bit of a this is how it is sometimes. Slow live stream, but see most of y'all stuck around. Appreciate it. Y'all know I don't control the markets, so I know y'all don't hold it against me, but not very exciting morning. There were plays, there were opportunities. BCLI, beautiful spike opportunity. ARMP, I did catch this spike opportunity. PTIX, there was one here, but it's looking bullish. And HKPD, again, if any of y'all are new, the money to be made, I keep saying this, and eventually I'm gonna catch on, but the most profitable time to trade for me, again, not financial advice, don't want to get sued, is 4 to 6:59 a.m. because they just always give their gains back. They just pump for no reason. It's crazy. That's my highest win percentage is 95% in this time frame. And the only reason I ever lose is I get in too heavy too early and I trim some or I jump out. I usually still give it all back. But yeah, Alex, I agree with your last comment. That's kind of how I always felt too. But again, I do lean on the more, how do you say it, more aggressive side. I don't, I'll take a little bit more risk than people, but y'all saw me, what was it, last month? Turn 25 to 50K in 13 days. So you don't double an account in 13 trading days without being a little risky. So I acknowledge that. This isn't your grandpa's ETF or strategy. That's for sure. I'm not even going to send out a morning watch list because I really don't have anything on it. Just PTIX, I'm keeping an eye on. BCLI, if it really wants to make its way up to $3 again, that's a long shot. That's a 50% move. I'll enter it. But that's really, I haven't really looked at BC. Well, that V, so the 200s moving average is around 220 and the VWAP is at 208. So from 220 to 208 might not be a bad entry on BCLI. And then if it clearly shows it wants to break that, I would hop out because it has a lot of range all the way up to 3. But just an idea. I don't know if I'm gonna trade it, but I just look for areas that it might reject at. So, but right now BCLI isn't even up that much anymore. What is it up? Yeah, it's only up 25%, so, or 28%. I can't remember if I even have any locates on it. But anyways, the market's about to open. I got to pay close attention to PTIX. See what it does. Don't get too excited either way if anybody's in it, because usually the first move's a fake out move. But I am happy it's under 865 right now. But that could change quickly. Oh, FAAS over 50. Thanks for the heads up. Let me see. Okay, I'm in FAAS on that little pop. Small position, but I'm in it. One of the main reasons I went in small with FAAS, let me get it pulled back up, is because I don't really know where the top is. It's crypto news. Very cautious with crypto news. Even though I don't think it's holding the same weight it was holding. Still, it burned me so many times. Haven't forgotten yet. And the 200 moving average, where is the 200? Oh, isn't till like 80 cents, 82. If it gets up here, I will add heavier, and if it gets to $1, add heavier here, and then if it breaks, I'm out. But right now I'm keeping an eye on PTIX. Feel free to keep me updated with the FAAS move. So it's dancing around this level. It hasn't decided what it wants to do. FAAS is rejecting that 60 cents level. This always happens if I go light. If I would have went heavier, I would have taken some profits right here on this move, but I'm not going to right now. Up about $100 on it. PTIX. Again, just kind of dancing around this level, trying to decide what it wants to do. It'd be nice if it breaks below 8 here. There we go. So this would be a good profit zone probably if I was in profit, but or trim position here maybe. Hate that my locates are single use though. Because I would love to trim it down here and then re-enter if it gets back up here, but there's no more locates available. And I hate having to trade that way. Yeah, well, there's locates available now, but they're $62 for 100. That's insane. It's like 8% of the price right now. That's crazy. SYTA, you're watching that one? Let's pull it up. BCLI is starting to curl up a little bit. Like I said, if it gets to this $2 area, I might be interested. You said SYTA you're watching? Don't blame me for watching it. What's the story with this one? Sorry, I get locates first before I start investigating. I waste a lot of money on locates, but this is why I do it. $4 for 1,000 shares. If I wait too long, it's going to get really expensive. Okay, SYTA. I just entered a starter position on that one. Okay, I don't see any brand new news, so I like no news pumps, but not sure if I just missed it. Only has 1.7 months of cash. Terrible institutional ownership, like 0.1%, not even 1%. So I'm in this one. Let me see the yearly, where might it run to? Potentially this play right here could get to 367. Where's the 200 on this thing? Jeez, it's all the way up here. Look how this thing's been tanking. What a hideous stock. So enter the starter position on the pop. Will re-enter around 360 if it gets up there. I'm in the money after that candle. And now look, I just went to get more SYTA shares. Now it's 15 bucks for 1,000 shares. So see, it just went up 3x. That's why I like to get them early. I know y'all hear me say that a lot, but I'd rather waste a little bit of locate fee in the beginning than have to pay 3x, 4x, sometimes 10x what I was paying. I think it averages out better for me long run. Entered at 3 bucks. Wasn't the best entry, but 3 bucks was my entry. A starter position, and then if it gets up to 350, 360, I'm going to add more. And this isn't and I'm going to just be honest, this isn't a super high conviction play. This is I say this is a B setup max because it's only up 32%. So there's just not a lot going on right now. So I just entered a starter position on it. If it gets up to 350, 360, where it's testing that previous high, is a little more appealing. I'll enter heavy here. FF, we're doing good on this one. HKPD, this is that 4 a.m. play, still going down. PTIX looking good. Well, I don't know if I can say good, but It's not short squeezing, so that's a plus. So SYTA starting to go up. So I'm entering 500 shares at 345 if SYTA gets there, and then I'm entering 1500 shares if it gets to 355. Maybe I should move it up a little bit. Maybe I should do 365. So I'm doing 500 at 355, 500 at 345, and then 1,000 at 365. Anyways, what's PTIX doing? Okay, below VWAP. That's a very good sign. And to your point, what was it, David? Somebody said I have a little bit higher risk tolerance. This is why, because most of the time they do this. So I hate, hate selling out of my position or covering my position, taking a decent sized loss, and then they just do this a few minutes later. But it's that's a good sign. So with this going down, other tickers will get attention. Potentially SYTA. Yeah, it's this one's the one I'm watching now. So I entered my 500 shares at 345. I got 500 at 355 and 1,000 at 365. So let's see how this one goes. Really hope it gets up to 355 for a bigger position. But it's kind of stalling out. It hit 355, but it didn't fill my shares. No, don't tank now. Please hit my 355. Yeah, Alex, you might have entered a little early. I mean, I did too, but it was a 500 shares. But I'm about to add 2,000 more shares at this level, so my average is going to go way up. So I added 500 at 345. 500 will be added at 355. 1,000 at 365. So yeah. But because I figured it would reject here or at least give it some trouble, but I was hoping it would at least fill some of those other ones. Dang. So PTIX looks like it's going to open up around $7 even flat. We'll see. Not the best morning so far, but maybe SYTA can make up for it. Yeah, it got up to 355, but it didn't hit my 500 shares. Anybody know why SYT is even up? Well, 2 days ago, they had reports, quarterly earnings, but they were not very impressive. Technically, they beat on their earnings, but beat is a nice way to put it. Barely beat it, and still was a loss, $2.35 a share. So SYTA is coming in contact with VWAP now. Let's see what it does. So I was in 1,500 shares, trimmed 500 right here at barely green. It's not to secure profit. It's just because I think it's going to bounce. And I'm going to re-enter at 349. Those 500 shares. Just to help my average. PTIX unhalted. If I see a big, what I would love to see right here, well, but I don't have locates, but and I talked about this last live stream, sometimes after a halt down, you'll see a big green candle. I usually short those because what usually happens is red halt down, big green candle, it rejects hard and keeps going down. You were mentioning things I was thinking, am I delayed? I mean, the YouTube live stream is a little bit delayed, but not much. And I'll look into it to see if there's anything I can do to make it less delayed, but it is a little delayed. Think about 10 seconds or something. Maybe more, I don't know. SYTA struggling. But it might bounce off of VWAP here. FAAS. It's kind of looking like it's making lower highs. This candle was 65 cents. This one's 62. This one's 60. So let's see. Yeah, but Alex, it is a little delayed. I can see what y'all see on YouTube, and it is a tab. Like in the YouTube studio, it shows like what's currently being live streamed, and it is a little delayed, but not much. So this test of VWAP again, if I had locates, it wouldn't be a bad entry, but the locates are still insane. SYTA, it's struggling. This might be a VWAP fade opportunity, honestly. An entry here if it The only thing I don't like about this is it's only up 33%. The thing I do like is the distance from VWAP to the 200 is greater than the 200 to the top. See what I'm saying? So it's more reward versus risk. But right now we're getting a nice solid green candle, so it might not close below VWAP. Or I guess technically it did right here, but that wasn't very clean. PTIX doesn't want to give up just yet. I personally want SYTA to get back up here, test these levels. I re-enter a little heavier, and then it fades, but let's see. Kind of rough morning. Only up about 400, green about 400 bucks, but because I let PTIX kind of wipe out some of that, but I would love to see it give back some right here, or me to get a bigger position in SYTA and it start giving back. But my high, I was looking at the yearly and saying that I think it'll reject in this 350 to 370 range. It looks like that might be accurate. Because I'm not very confident it's going to break a new high. Again, it could. This is just a probability game. But probability says I think it could potentially get back up here now that we have a high of the day and reject. But if so that's why I'm entering heavy. So my mindset is enter heavy here, and then there's a lot to give back. And if I'm wrong and it starts getting bullish, it's a much smaller loss than the potential reward. So that's kind of how I look at this play. But I'm not in very heavy right now. I wanted to enter heavier at 355 and 365. So unfortunately, not in heavy at all. PTIX still doing the same thing. That's a good sign. New low, new intraday low. I'm in so light with this one too, though, because I trimmed most of it already. Like a dummy. Or the smart thing, according to most people. I'm so tempted to add to my position right here because I don't. The only thing that makes me nervous about this one is going back to the yearly. I could see it getting a little bit closer to the 200, but in the past, it hasn't really gotten there either because this thing just dives so hard. FAAS, it might not get up there. But since it's a crypto play, I'm going to be cautious. But when we look back, I bet this probably wouldn't have been a bad entry to add. Because what it looks like to me is it's struggling to get back up to its opening candle high. SYTA, I don't even know if I'm going to get another test to add into this position. It's looking kind of weak. And the VWAP fade, I mean, there's still money to be made on it, but I usually like a little bit, I like for it to be up more than like 40%, 30%. Yeah, I have like a tiny position on this one. I should have added more on that 60, but all good. But yeah, very, it's looking like it wants to go down. This was a little bit of a zone I was wondering about if it would break it easy, and it's looking like it's going to. This like 713 area, or 725 to 710. It did get caught up in this area a little bit, but it's going. It looks like looking like it wants to keep going down. So SYT has clearly broke VWAP now. And it looks like my idea was correct, but I didn't execute it the best because I didn't get all my, it got up to 355, but it didn't fill my 355. So hate when that happens, but it happens sometimes. Right idea, poor execution. Yeah, Alex, FAAS is a Bitcoin treasury play. That's why I'm in it. Like I'm only in 1,000 shares, which is like $600. Yeah. If it gets up to that, what was that level I was talking about? 80 cents, I think. If it gets up to, yeah, the 80 cents range, I'll add heavier to it. But I'm still a little skittish with these Bitcoin plays. So yeah, SYTA is clearly closed under VWAP now. So this is part of that fade, my playbook, the VWAP fade. If I wasn't in this position currently, I would add a little here, but leave room for pops. I wouldn't go full blown right now. Because the VWAP, for it falling and closing under VWAP is more of a confirmation, just as much as it is an entry. But it usually still bounces some. So I always make sure I have enough to add to the bounce. And again, it's only up 35%. So this isn't a, this at best is a B play, potentially a C plus play. I like seeing them over 100% when it does the VWAP fade, or at least 50. So the point is, I don't see any A plus setups right now. Because this one has fallen below, and this is potentially an entry, but the 200's already up to $6, and that's where it usually goes to. Could it fall all the way down to this level? Absolutely, absolutely. But my first profit zone is usually the 200, and it's so close that it's the VWAP fade will work, but there's just not a lot of reward, I don't think. It's 10 o'clock. I'm on live stream a little bit longer, but I'm gonna wrap up soon. Y'all know what I'm seeing. Y'all know what I'm looking at. I'm hoping PTIX just keeps fading all day. No plan to add to this position, honestly. SYTA, if it gets back up to this level, the 349 to 360, adding heavy. And then FAAS, kind of just monitoring, to be honest. I'm not going to add until it gets up to probably 80 cents, if it gets up there. So y'all, know what I'm looking at? It's a Monday. There's going to be a lot of alerts today, I think, or a lot of potential plays later in the day or throughout the day. So not super excited about how my morning went. I'm green, but um, not very green. So I think most of these plays are going to continue to give back. Probably going to close out of HKPD because it's starting to. I'm starting to lose some profit on it right now. It's starting to look a little bullish. You know what? I'm actually going to add. I'm adding to this position right here. I think it's going to reject here at the 200, and then I'll add some more if it gets to the VWAP. So I added more to HKPD. One, $1.50 is a tough level to break. Two, I don't think it's going to sustain over the 200, and even if it does, I will re-enter at VWAP. And one of the main reasons I'm deciding to do this instead of just taking profit is I'm not as green as I want to be, and I know that there's potential that this gives back its gains. I think VWAP is going to be really tough for it to break, and I'm not even confident it's going to break $1.50, to be honest, and hold. Could be wrong, but added back to this position. So we'll see. HKPD is having some large bids, though, I noticed, but it's breaking through them. Yeah, I think SYTA is going to put up a fight. It's not going to go straight down, but I think by end of day, it's going to be lower than where it's at now. FAAS looking like it's wanting to give back its gains. This 50-cent level is going to be key. One, because it's 50 cents, and two, because that's where VWAP is. So it could bounce off here pretty hard, but I don't think it's going to do that. I think it'll probably fade most of the day. The Bitcoin Treasury news seems like it doesn't hold the same weight as it has in the past, and I don't think crypto is up today. Let me see. Is crypto up today? No, my crypto account says otherwise. So yeah, crypto's not super bullish today, so that's a good sign. Because when these crypto treasury PRs are announced and crypto is green on the day, it's a recipe for disaster. Nice. SYTA, new low, intraday low, or this move low. Man, I wish I would have got that fill at 355, but that's all right. Cool. So y'all see what I'm looking at. Hope it's been helpful. If y'all have any questions, ask now, or I'm going to probably be dipping soon. PTIX is tanking as well. Good sign. Very good sign. And FAAS. So all the plays we're talking about look like they're going down, but HKPD decided it is going to break 150. So if it gets up to 165, I'm going to add. But overall, most of my attention is going to be on PTIX, FAAS, SYTA, and now HKPD. But if there's no more questions, this is Bear Wall Street signing off. Not financial advice. Like, subscribe, and let's make some money. Talk to y'all later.